morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time you're watching me. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing super well. And I'm Anita Mateo. I'm Cuban. I live in Galicia, Spain. And today I'm going to show you where I live. I'm going to show you what life is like in a village in Galicia, how my life has changed. What's different about this village compared to the villages in Cuba? Let's talk about all those realities a little bit here, while I show you at the same time what life is like here. I invite you down below to subscribe. Yes, subscribe now. Yes, please. And here I want to say hello, because in the last video I didn't show her and you asked me about her. Come. Here is Fibi. Fibi, hello, how are you? She already has clothes because she was cold. She's a small dog from Cuba where it was hot, but I brought her somewhere much colder and had to buy her clothes. I'm going to take Fibi for the walk, also because she hasn't seen the town. She's going to be discovering it here with you all. Here in the town, almost everyone has a car. Well, I imagine there are some people who don't, but most people have their car and leave it parked, just like that. Here, most of the houses and apartments look like this. These are like the floors and the buildings. Here, almost all of them are very similar. And the apartments, at least mine, cost 400, but there are cheaper ones and also more expensive ones. This is more or less what they look like. And well, right here we have a bar, as it should be in Spain. Even in the villages, we are full of bars. I don't think I've mentioned this in my videos since coming to Galicia. Street is Rua. I mean, this is called Rio and Jones Street, but it's Rua, Rio and Jones because Rua means street, in Galician and in Portuguese too. Because when I went to Porto, it was the same. Here, near my house, I have a dog park that Fibi loves, and I bring her here almost every day. Look, how beautiful. I've wanted to go out and record this short video for you all week, but it was very cloudy, and I finally said, well, why should I wait for a sunny day if a normal day in Galicia is a cloudy day? Something like that. And well, here I am showing you my town with its usual weather. Although I have to tell you that last week the weather was very nice. There was a little bit more sun. I don't have to wear so many coats or cover up so much anymore because it's not that cold now, but when I go out there's always a little breeze and I still wear a coat. Although I see that the typical people from here with this weather go out in shorts and t-shirts. I can't do that. Well, it's just that they're already used to it. Galicia is quite famous for its wonderful landscapes, as you can see, green fields and beautiful buildings. What surprises me most about living here, especially on the outskirts in the village, is the type of apartments like the ones I showed you in those buildings. As you can see back here, you can see a little bit, but on the outskirts of Bogota, I can tell you the views are wonderful. Or in those little villages on the outskirts where there are little houses, each one separated from the other, and you drive down the road and see that landscape, and ever since I arrived I fell in love with it. It's beautiful, and there are many little villages like that near the sea, and it looks wonderful. Honestly, I think in the future I would like to live in a little village like that, but to live there you really need to have a car, because in those villages there isn't a supermarket. For example, there's one nearby here called Razo, which is right by the sea with little houses, the ones with chimneys and those really beautiful roofs. They have to come to Carvalho, the nearest town, which is why having a car is necessary. Living in a village in Galicia, people often speak Galician, especially here. It feels like they speak it all the time. When you go to the city, you do hear more people speaking Spanish, the Castilian that we speak, but in the villages they speak Galician a lot. I walk down the streets and yes, they speak completely in Galician, but when you speak to them in Spanish, they switch to Spanish. It's normal, it's not a big deal. Now, where I live, it's a village, but it's not a village like you might imagine. Not like a village in Cuba, for example. Villages in Cuba have nothing, there's no life, they're practically falling apart. This is a little village, but at the same time it has everything because it has all the supermarkets, all kinds of businesses, all kinds of things. They sell clothes, there are restaurants, there are bars everywhere. So it's a town that's maybe a bit quieter compared to the city, but here you can find things if you look. I mean, it's not like the kind of town I had imagined when I came from Cuba. Here they even hold a lot of activities, fairs and parties and all sorts of things. That's another thing that surprises me. In Spain, the number of celebrations and festivals there are, and how each place has its own typical festival and celebrations. For example, this town might have a festival for this area. The Bergantiños area, which is what it's called, has its own celebrations, very different from other regions of Spain, and living in villages is a choice. If you're thinking about renting for less, about cheaper services, about cheaper things, obviously in the city everything is going to be more expensive, and in a village everything is going to be cheaper. Look, I didn't come here for that. I came because I had a friend who was the one who welcomed me when I came from Cuba, and she lived around here. And that's why I came and found a place to rent here and all that. But I don't think I would move to a city, at least for now. I haven't thought about it. I like living here. I feel good, and if I want to go to the city, I have Coruña, which is the closest city. It's pretty close. I think it's only half an hour away, and there's enough transportation to get there, even if I don't have a car, which is another important thing. Here, most people have a car. Another thing about here, at least in this village in Galicia, I think there aren't as many Cubans here as maybe in other parts of Spain, maybe because the climate is so different. And I haven't met any other Cubans. Well, yes, I have met other Cubans, but very few, you know. It's like I see mostly Spaniards here in the village. I don't see that many people, maybe immigrants. It's also that I haven't met them. No, maybe there are some, but I haven't seen them here. These painted walls are something very typical, specifically of this village where I live. There are a lot of murals in this style. And well, I don't really know the history of why, but it really catches my attention that there are so many painted walls here. If you know the history of these wall murals, please let me know in the comments. They really catch my attention. There are paintings like this in this style all over the town, scattered everywhere, you know? I see really a lot of clothing stores here, so many selling clothes. And what's that, the Inditex group? I don't think there's an Inditex store here in Carvalho, even though it's really famous. The founder is from Coruña, where the stores Zara and Stradivarius are. The founder, in case you didn't know, is from here, from La Coruña. And well, what you see back here is my cafe. It's not my favorite, but it's the one I always come to, one of the ones I know here. And I'm going to have a coffee. Shall we eat something? No, because it's lunchtime. Yes, it's already lunchtime. At this time everything is super empty. There's not much going on because it's siesta time, but the town starts to get really busy in the afternoon. That's when it really comes to life. Now you see this and it's deserted. I always have the luck of deciding to go out at this time when everything is dead and empty around here. It's typical that I can have my pet here at the cafe and nothing happens outside. Phoebe's not used to this, so she puts me through some embarrassing moments. Look, here we ordered 2 coffees and they always bring us this. I mean, always in Spain. Well, I don't know about all of Spain, but at least here they always give us a little piece of bread or something extra. And we're going to have a chorizo sandwich for lunch, which is very typical in Spain with this bread. And well, I ordered a slice of pizza. Well, there's something I've noticed, I've confirmed, people have told me about it, and I think I've had this experience myself. I'm sharing my experience living in Galicia. I specify it's Galicia because Spain's regions are so different. I can't speak for the whole country. In general, people have told me that you eat much better in villages and smaller places than in the city. Because what happens in the city? Every time I decide to look for a place, it's usually central or touristy, right? But in the village, since there's no tourism, I think it's different. I don't think there's any tourism here. It's mostly in the city, in Coruña and Santiago. But anyway, here in the villages, you go to places with traditional food and all that, and the food is delicious, it's exquisite, they serve you a lot, and it's cheaper. It's much cheaper than when you go to the city, because in the city, usually you find tourist places that are much more expensive. I spend a lot more money, and I feel that here, like in the villages, the food is much tastier. You know what I mean? More natural, freshly made, and cheap. Well, we're leaving now. We've already had lunch, and do you know how much the bill was? The bill was 7.12 euros, super cheap. In general, lunch here is pretty cheap. Maybe in the city it's a bit more expensive, but here it's really cheap. And well, like every city or town, there's a main street, which is this one right here. Look here, Phil, this is the main street here, which is called Calle de la Coruña. And well, here there are usually a lot of bars and a lot of shops. See, walk, it's like this. As you can see, cars don't go through here. It's a pedestrian street. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. And this is the plaza, like the center of the town where, oh, look at that spring and dance, wow. All the activities and fairs are held here. Do you remember the last video I made about the food here, about a fair? The food carts were here, but they've already been taken away as usual. They're not permanent, they're temporary, and well, whenever there's any party or activity, this place gets full of people. Right now it's a bit empty because of the time, but there are always some people around here. And even though it's a small town, the terrace culture, like in Spain in general, remains. You see, sitting calmly on your little terrace, having a beer or a glass of wine. I think right now it would be more of a beer. It's a bit hot today. And well, something I've been told is that spring here is very beautiful. And look, you can already see little flowers starting to appear. When I arrived, there were none. Everything looked like late winter or autumn. Regarding the food, what I see is that they mostly sell traditional food here. You know, look, there's no McDonald's or anything like that here. If you want to eat McDonald's, you have to go to the city. If you mention eating at McDonald's here, people get offended because Galicia's food is so delicious. If you say you ate at Burger King or McDonald's, here you have to eat seafood, octopus. Look at this, Fibi running after the crown. Hey, behave yourself. Are they going to deport you? Are they going to deport her to Cuba? Well, here you have to eat seafood if you come to Galicia. And in the villages, they make wonderful seafood, not that they don't in the city too. But anyway, I already told you that over there, most places are more touristy, but here they make wonderful seafood. The best I've ever had, I had it here, right in the village. There are grill houses, there are barbecues, there are places where they sell you delicious meats, because here it's very common and very popular to eat beef. There's even a cow that's Galician, the Galician blonde cow, the Galician cow. There are 10,000 types of meats and types of cows with potatoes, salad, and always as a starter, seafood. I mean, seafood is the starter. And how do they eat? And then they eat their churrasco or their steak or those kinds of things with potatoes, always accompanied by potatoes. And that's what people eat the most here, and I love it. What can I say? I love the food here. I wouldn't go to a McDonald's. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. The typical food of Galicia is wonderful. Well, now let's talk a little more about my life, what my life is like, my reality now that I live here. Oh, it's a bit sunny, huh? Me judging the weather here, it was cloudy and now the sun came out, but the weather here is a bit crazy. Honestly, sometimes it drives me crazy. Here you always have to check the weather app. Right now I'm hot, as I've already mentioned to you, especially in a video I made comparing life in the village and life in the city. It depends on what you like. I've already told you why I came here. Life here is pretty calm, pretty monotonous. I try to go to the city more, to go out. There are the beaches. I hope that in the spring and summer things get a little livelier, because at least during the winter season I spent here it was pretty quiet. Way too quiet, but at the same time it's a small town and it's not like I imagined. For example, comparing it to the towns in Cuba, and I know comparisons are silly because they're nothing alike. But here you find everything, all the services and things you need, the bank, everything, all the paperwork and everything I can do right here in my town, calmly, which is something that doesn't happen in Cuba, because you absolutely have to go to the city for many things, even to buy food, because in the towns everything disappears, there's nothing, and to buy even food you have to go to the city. I haven't met many people either. Most of the people, I mean Galicians, the Galicians I've met, it's because they're friends of my friend who has been here longer. And honestly, they seemed like very kind people to me, really good people. Although I would like to meet many more people here, because that's another part of the reality of being an immigrant. And sometimes you feel kind of alone. At least I sometimes feel alone, like I don't have anyone to visit. But well, that's the life of all immigrants. You kind of feel pretty lonely because obviously you're not in your country, you're not with the people you grew up with the people you know, and that's pretty hard. And well, here I feel, honestly, I have my friend and there are people who don't even have that, not even a friend or anything. But sometimes, yeah, it's like I don't really have anyone to visit, and yeah, I do feel a little bit lonely, but well, those are normal things in life. If I would live here my whole life, honestly, I can't really say.
A lot of people ask me that, and I would like to get to know other places in Spain, visit other places, get to know them. Although to really know what it's like to live there, just visiting isn't enough.
You won't really know, because when you visit, you'll just be like a tourist. But maybe if I spend some more time in another place, I'd like to see what it's like so I can compare. Although honestly, despite these things I mentioned, like the weather and not knowing anyone and all that, I feel happy here, I feel good. My plans for next year are to have a car, because I think with a car, with a vehicle, I would get around much more easily and I would feel better. Because I could visit many beautiful places here in Galicia, because Galicia is beautiful. It has beaches and very lovely landscapes and very nice places to visit. When I don't have a car, public transportation sometimes doesn't reach that area. There's still a lot I haven't seen, but I plan to get a car next year. Like this video if you think that's possible. I'm really afraid of driving. I don't know why driving scares me so much, and I see that cars here go so fast. Well, if you like this little video, all I can say is give it a like. That way you really help me keep creating content for you. Leave me a comment down below. What else do you want to know about life in Galicia or my own life? Right now I'm just relaxing here, not traveling. Because I want to focus on creating content for you from here, about what life is like here, about what my life is like here. I think Galicia is like a place in Spain, and I don't know many creators who are here. You know, there's Gretel and all that. But most of the Cuban creators I know are in other areas, and I want to show you Galicia. Look who just arrived. Hi, my love. Subscribe down below. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe and join this family if you want to know more about my life here. Sending you a big kiss. See you on Friday in a new video. Bye. Oops.